Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Walaikum salam, brother Kyle.
Walaikum salam.
Man, we at the barbershop. We have a very special guest today.
Absolutely.
I'm very humbled and very grateful to introduce our good brother, Brother Hashim, Hakim. What's going on, brother?
What's cracking?
Oh, man, you beloved.
Doing, man?
You
What's
beloved.
going on in the big, great city of brotherly love.
That's
Brother,
right.
we still fired up over last night.
Oh, man.
Praise.
We got a chance to witness Almighty God Allah come through our brother.
That's right.
That's always a beautiful sight.
That's right.
Yes, I was honored, man. I was in a zone, as they say. We call it the Holy Spirit.
Yes, sir. That's what they say.
But it wasn't me. It was all the Most High.
Praise you to
Praise
Allah.
be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. So what's been your inspiration to motivate the brothers? I mean, what do you want to see happen, Brother Hashim?
What's been your inspiration to motivate the brothers? First question.
Mm-hmm.
My inspiration has been what I was given by the Assistant Supreme Captain, Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. And that was instructions to reproduce myself. And if you follow the blueprint of the Nation of Islam, each one that was sent divinely had the skills, the tools to not only lead our people, but raise up one from amongst us and reproduce themselves in that individual.
Mm-hmm.
Started with Master Muhammad, who raised up the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and reproduced himself in the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Malcolm, going to Muhammad Ali, countless others, who reproduced himself in these individuals. But who really stands out in this time is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was also reproduced by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And so the blueprint, if you're going to be in the Nation of Islam, is not just to get knowledge of self, not just to get the 5 pillars of Islam, not to get Islam per se as a way of life, but to take it and go into the highways and the byways and reproduce yourself, which you as yourself should have been a reproduction of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who is a reproduction of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in turn is a reproduction of Master Fard Muhammad. So it's really Master Fard Muhammad in us.
Right.
It's really the most honorable Elijah Muhammad exhibited through us. It's really the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan exhibited through us. And that has been my motivation, to not be someone who just came and got the teachings and hoarded them to myself, but to take that to the highways and the byways, to the poor, to anybody who I come in contact with, black, white, Hispanic, Italian, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, Jehovah's Witness. For our teaching, we have a Savior that was born for humanity, not just black. It started home first, but then it goes abroad. So that's question number one. My inspiration has been, can I give up Brother Hashim, deny myself, pick up the burden of those who came before me to keep the mission going as the resurrection of our people here in America and throughout the world? That's the first question. So I agree with with everything that I signed up to be as far as the Nation of Islam. I agree with all the teachings. I don't have any doubt about anything. So if you have no doubt, they say when you're in doubt, you can't really move like someone who knows what conviction is like. When you're in doubt, you can't really walk with someone who is still trying to figure things out. Because you're going to always have to hold their hand. You're going to always have to stop and explain things along the way. But this ain't the time right now to be doubting.
Okay.
Not the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So that's my answer on that.
Okay.
That's my answer to that. I'm going to stick to it. So that's my motivation, period, is to see our people out of the condition that they are in, because that's the condition of those, that's the goal of those who came before us. I don't have my own agenda.
Right.
I just am an extension of the three that came before me.
Right. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I even want to add what you were saying last night, my brother.
Yes, sir.
When you were talking about how you advanced from being a believer into a knower. Man, when brother said that, you know what I mean? You kind of hit home, because we believe that we should be growing spiritually, not just physically. And as a nation, we should be spiritually and mentally growing. So if you start off a believer, you ain't supposed to still be a believer 10, 15 years later. When do you become a knower?
Come on, man.
So when you said that, it really hit home. Really hit home.
That's real key. How many times have Allah revealed himself to us in our personal life?
Right.
How many times have we gotten out of situations where we didn't see how we were going to get out of it? How many times have we been in maybe near-death situations? How many times have we been in situations where we saw no light at the end of the tunnel? But because of divine intervention, we came through. And so that is how Allah revealed itself. When it's dark and now there's light. When it may be, a person may be facing life, but if they are right and in the right, the charges get thrown out. That happened to me as well. So, I mean, how many times you got to keep revealing itself? And we keep asking. We have in our prayer, now listen to this. This is real key right here.
Yes, sir.
We have a prayer that says, surely I turn myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to him who originated the heavens and the earth. And I am not of the polytheists. Stop right there. Polytheist, someone who worships more than one God. Someone asked the question, how can you worship one God if it's one God? And I said, whatever you think about the most, that's your God. So if you can't give up Mr. Newport, that's your God.
That's right.
If all you thinking about is the next woman you can have sex with, somebody you can have, that's your God. If you can't get up when you need to get up and you sleeping all day long, sleep God, that's your God. So we saying we are not other polytheists. Let's keep going. And I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death is all for Allah. You said your prayer, your sacrifice, your life, and your death is all for God. Are we telling the truth? Is it? Let's keep going. My sacrifice, my life, and my death is all for Allah, the Lord of the world. No associates has thee, and this we are commanded. I am of those who submit. All thou art the king. There's no God but thee. You are my Lord, and I am thy servant. Let's go. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So listen to this part. So grant me protection against all of my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. This part right here. None grants protection against faults but thee. If Allah is the only one that can grant you protection against all of your faults, so shouldn't your loyalty be to Allah? Let's keep going. My sacrifice, my life, and my death is all for Allah. No associates has thee. This is my command, that I am of those who submit. All thou art the king. There's no God but thee. You are my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. For none grants protection against faults but thee. Right? And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals. And God, no. What is
Guide
that?
me to the best of morals. And guide me to the best of morals.
And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals.
That's after guide me to the best of morals.
And guide me into, let me see. Let's go. In the name of Allah, the blessed and merciful, all praise due to Allah, the Lord of the world. While I seek protection against anxiety, no. Should I turn myself to thee, O Allah, trying to be upright to him who originated the heavens and earth, and I'm not of the polytheists? Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, my death is all for Allah, the Lord of the world. No associates has in this is my command, that I am of those who submit. All thou art the king. There's no God but thee. You are my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So grant me protection against all of my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee. And guide me into the best of morals. But none guides into the best of morals but thee. The part is, none guides into the best of morals but thee. And here we go again. Turn away from me the evil and indecent morals. For what?
None
None
turn away from the evil and decent morals.
But we all got all these problems.
Indeed.
And the evil and indecent morals. Right?
Yes, sir.
And now we barely pray. We don't keep our 5 prayers a day or more. We don't hardly talk to Allah. We don't hardly study. We ride off the titles. If none can turn away from me the evil and indecent morals but thee, surely we can make these prayers. And the Quran says he make it easy for us. Allah said, I don't want discomfort for you. I want to make it painful for you. So you can pray when you're sitting. when you standing, when you laying, when you walking or riding. So you ain't got to necessarily, break down on the ground all the time. But the remembrance of Allah is what? The remembrance of Allah is the greatest. Is the greatest sacrifice you can make. Obedience is even greater than sacrifice.
Right.
So here we go. With that prayer right there, everybody says, I want to be right. I'm going to do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. We live in a world where Allah says everything that He says don't do, this world says what? It's okay to do. So as soon as we walk out of our homes, as soon as we wake up, before you even walk out of your home, you face with adversity. From the internet to your cell phone, social media, the world is already programmed against you. Don't be a black man on top of that. Or a black woman. So I'm thinking about me and where I was prior to coming into the Nation of Islam. And I want every individual who so-called call themselves a believer, whether you're in the Nation of Islam or not, is your life, better now compared to when you first came in? I be thinking about questions like that. Like, is your life better? Now, you got knowledge of self, you got understanding, you got the teachings. Are you advanced as opposed to when you first came into these teachings?
Completely. More.
Some say yes, but now we want to take all the teachings, and if we can materialize these teachings, the scripture says you should know them by their works. And we weigh our works with the knowledge that we have. Now let's look at that scale.
Okay.
The knowledge that we have, based on the knowledge that we have, do our works exemplify the knowledge that we have? That part right there subjects me to sit down somewhere. Not just stand up and say, look at me.
Right.
So yeah, I can say I'm a better person because I'm wiser.
Right.
But am I better? I can say I'm a better person because I know better now. But am I better? Because we taught a person who knows better should what? Do better.
Indeed.
So if I don't have anything to show for my wisdom, from the same person I was when I came in, just smarter, you could tell the person's productivity and his relationship with his creator. You should be able to see that. So you can say you're a Muslim all day. I'm a Christian. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jehovah's Witness. But Christ, Muhammad, Farrakhan, think of any of the great leaders. They don't go around saying, I am this, I am this, I am this. You should be able to see, Nipsey Hussle. Let's go there. Nipsey Hussle. Now, many people are just coming into the knowledge of who he was and who he is right now.
Right.
And he's being shown in a good light. But because of his works, you can say he was this, you can say he was that. But his works, though, make you say, nah, he's this. Not what they say. So that's where I'm at right now. Do my good deeds outweigh my bad deeds? And every individual watching your broadcast right now, you should ask yourself, do my good deeds outweigh my bad deeds? If your bad deeds outweigh your good deeds, how can you really call yourself a believer? You can call yourself a believer. How about this? You can. Let me recant. And let me say it in these words. If my bad deeds outweigh my good deeds, what do I deserve heaven on earth for?
That's mathematics.
And I've been in these teachings for so long. Now, you got new converts and people just coming in. That's a little different. But you got somebody, I should not be the same brother that I was yesterday.
Right.
After last night, believe it or not, I grew up. Last night, because it was not me talking.
Right.
It was Allah talking through me. And I heard some things and I said, whoa. So it's a verse in the Quran say, do you enjoin people to be right? And you not right yourself? I'm paraphrasing. Do you tell others to do right and you ain't doing right yourself? Have you no sense at all? So I don't want to be that brother, man. So if I pass away, if something happened to me, Nipsey Hussle said ride for him and they take him out for what he tried to do to continue the legacy of Dr. Seeley. But if something happened to me, regardless of what dirt they dig up on me, all I wanted to do was see my people free. So you should be able to see that. Let's see if my sacrifice then, my life and my death is all for really seeing my people free. Let's see what you stand for, Brother Hashim. You asked me that. What motivates you? Well, what you asked me in the beginning, and my actions do not live up to what I said I want and what motivates me to do what I'm doing, I'm an imposter.
That's it.
I'm an imposter. So that was a beautiful question. And my actions, my sacrifice, my life, and my death should all resemble what you asked me in the beginning, what motivate me. I just want to see my people free. That's it.
Yes, sir.
That was a good question too, by the way.
All praise be to Allah.
I tell him all the time, brother got a gift, man.
Praise be to Allah. No, let me ask you this. We've been talking about, you were talking about keeping our duty to Allah. Please talk about that a little bit. But, you know, whatever comes to your heart.
So that's Surah 8, Ayat 29. O you who believe, if you keep your duty to Allah, He will grant a distinction between you.
Right.
Do away with your evils. Protect you. And the Lord is the Lord of mighty grace, not just regular grace. Your boss can give you grace. You can be late on your cell phone bill and they give you a grace period. Your landlord can give you a grace period. That's grace. But mighty grace is how about I give you a lifestyle to help you pay off your whole house. I give you a lifestyle and a way of living to where you not only get an education, but an education that's universal as opposed to trying to get a job. Now you can rule a world with it. Mighty graces, in this world system, you are forever looked at as a criminal because of your criminal record. Mighty grace is he'll take a 10-time felon and make him one of the greatest orators ever. Malcolm X.
Yes, sir.
You know, he'll take somebody with a 3rd grade education and make him the most powerful black man that ever lived. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He'll take somebody like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who was a talented person but started in poverty when he came to the Nation of Islam, so much that he had holes in his shoes, and now he the most powerful black man living. Because it's really Elijah if you want to know what's up. So, mighty grace, what do you have to do to get mighty grace? What does one have to do to get protection in a world that's designed to kill, tear down, and destroy you?
Right.
What does one have to do to get a distinction between the rest of them so where you're exalted above them?
Right. Keep
your duty to Allah. So now we get into the question, what is our duty? What is our duty? Well, I'm going to tell you something. Allah gave each and every one of us gifts and talents, skill sets that we are so good at that if we would hone in on those skills and talents, we can make a living off of them. But some of us doubt the talent. Some of us bury the talent. Some of us feel like, I'm not that no more. Now you're forced to go to the unemployment line and work with somebody else who is living their dreams and talents. I saw a meme one time of a Caucasian in front of a Lamborghini, and he said his success is based upon those who didn't follow their dreams, and now they working for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I said, oh man, I don't know if somebody made that up, but it made me think. You don't see foxes in the unemployment line. You don't see owls in the unemployment line. Everything the Most High created is doing what it created it to do. Why can't we as human beings do what we're born to do? Taking the gifts and talents. Believe it or not, I didn't know my gift and talent was my mouth because I had a speech impediment. I used to stutter. I used to couldn't talk when I got angry. I just lock up and be shell-shocked. But like Zeb said, I prayed to Allah to take that away from me. Remember?
Yes, sir.
We say, none can turn away from me The indecent actions. How about, porn is another thing that's major.
That's right.
Porn.
Yes, sir.
P-O-R-N. In the house of God and outside of the house of God. It is a problem. And it is a God. And so you saying I'm gonna stop this or I'm gonna stop smoking, I'm gonna stop drinking. You will. If you will to stop. If your will is strong enough to stop. So if you ask Allah, take away from me this desire to do porn. Take away from me the desire to smoke. What you think gonna happen?
Oh man, it's gonna happen. But you know what? I just want to add this in, and I'm gonna shut up and listen, man.
Let me say this first.
Go ahead.
You can't control and master the demons you enjoy playing with.
I ain't gotta say it. You just said it.
Wow.
You already said it.
If you enjoy playing with them demons, they're gonna be around for a minute now.
That's right. Wow. So let me ask you this then: how do we is there a challenge in encouraging others to accept this notion of keeping your duty to Allah? Like, let's say, we're in the community, right? We try to be unifiers in our community, so it's not like we particularly trying to force religion on people, right? But at the same time, we acknowledge that our ability to keep our duty to God is everything. It's an inspiration, right?
Yes.
How do we get other people who may not be Muslim to feel that concept of keeping their duty to Allah?
That's a good question. I heard Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say the loudest expression is a good example.
Okay.
The loudest expression is a good example. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, 1,300 years ago, he was so profound in his example of being a Muslim that Christians would come to him and ask for advice.
Okay.
And he would say, follow what Jesus told you to do. It was his example. And that's what we have gotten away from, man, as we think. So in Islam, we're taught that there's no compulsion in religion.
Right.
Our job is just to deliver a clear message.
Indeed.
Once you deliver a clear message, what's subsequent to a clear message is a clear and good example of the message. And once you have that example and the message, people are more subjected to follow and listen to what you're saying. Now, I say I propagate the faith. I say I want to see the community and make my community a decent, safer place to live. What is Islam is mathematics, like Brother Zeb said, and mathematics is Islam, and it can be proven in no limited time. I said you can be on a street corner 21 days in a row doing the same thing with the Final Call newspaper, and you will be recognized as a part of the community.
That's right.
Wow.
You will be recognized and known. Now, everybody is not so willingly accepting at first. But how about 21 days turn into 2 months? 2 months turn into 90 days. And those who said no will eventually turn around and say yes. Some quicker than others. So it's you got to be consistent. And in 30 days, I've been doing this since '94. I still, in 2019, started in 1994, have some days where I don't feel like it.
Okay.
And then I get the question, what if God just said he don't feel like it and I didn't wake up the next day?
Indeed.
What if you say, or just think of my mom, man. My mom was married 0 times, had 6 children by 4 different men. And what if she just said, I don't feel like it, and sent us to the abortion place, or I don't feel like it, and put us in an adoption place? I wouldn't be here right now.
Wow. So
I was talking to a police officer in Indianapolis, and crime was at a big, Indianapolis, Indiana, crime was like crazy. And I talked to an officer and I asked him, man, sometimes you get up like, what is it all worth? Do you get up like, man, what am I doing here? He said, I don't look at it like that. I look at it like, what if I wasn't here? and he changed my whole perspective. And little things like that. What if there was no Nation of Islam in the black community, considering what we're going through right now as a people? I think slavery would be, physical slavery would be back in place. That's what I think. They already got us mentally, some of us. But I think physical slavery, you know, they can make, man, I believe it would be so bad for black people right now, man, that a lot of them would just tap out, man. Without the Nation of Islam, you think you don't want the Nation of Islam in your community. You think you wish the Nation of Islam didn't exist. No Nation of Islam? What you think the black community gonna look like? Because your church don't get out. We got the most churches and the most crime. What you think the black community gonna look like? You don't go protest. You ain't saying nothing to no police when they beating our people and killing them. Who you see on the front line? The Nation of Islam.
That's right.
So, man, you own it with them questions now. Kind of, what you a broadcast journalist or something?
Born to do what he do.
For Allah, indeed.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this. Like, kind of change your pace, but still in the same realm. So you're a brother who's, you know, moving around in different cities, interacting with, you know, our brothers and sisters in different cities, in black communities in different cities throughout the U.S. Do you see are there any, when it comes to putting in that work, like, are there any, like, differences? Like, let's say if you trying to get black people to love each other in Chicago versus in Philly, or New York versus Dallas. Like, are there things that make a difference?
I want to quote a great prophet named DJ Quick, or is it Humpty Hump? DJ Quick said, Chicago is just like Compton. Humpty Hump said, all around the world, same song. What we have to realize is social engineering, man, is a strategy to where you take a whole race of people, man, and you reprogram them to be what you want them to be. When you create a person in a lab, social engineering is, I'm going to take this man, I'm going to take my tool called radio that I run. I'm going to take my tool called television that I run. And I'm going to portray some of the strongest men in history as women. I'm going to take the song now, the radio, and I'm going to let them rap about men kissing men. I was singing a song a few years ago, man. The melody was so cold, but then I listened to what she was saying. I said, man, why am I singing this song? She said, last night I kissed a girl and I liked it. The melody was so catchy, but you got children walking around. Last night I kissed a girl and I liked it. They reprogram us, man.
Right.
Because the mind is impressionable. You know how the mind works? It works with something called repetition. You hear the same thing over and over and over again, it can get into your subconscious.
Excuse me 1 second, brother. Hashim, cut the part in?
It was in there, but what you think? It was in there. It was cut in there.
Okay, let's go ahead and cut it in. Make it look sharper when you cut it.
So, repetition is key, man. And so you got this going over and over again, and that's radio is not controlled by us, but that's. Do you know Cox radio station?
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. COX.
Okay.
And then these other multimedia, these are owned by an organization, but the same playlist be in your city, this in my city, and then they programming us with this music. Did you know there's a word called idiot box in the dictionary?
Wow.
The definition of idiot box is television.
Okay.
So, social engineering, man, I don't care where you at, man. Social engineering is working all over this country. And outside of the country too, to where they got people programmed before they come into the United States to think that black people are natural born killers, natural born criminals. So I don't know, man. I think everywhere is the same song. But when you want to talk about progressive and some changes, and I look at numbers like the Matrix. It's all numbers. They got names, but I look at numbers.
Okay.
And we taught in the Nation of Islam, you can tell the pulse of the city by the final call numbers.
Okay.
low numbers, low activity. High numbers, high activity. And looking at us give the people hope. So that brother asked a question last night, man. And we're going to hear it tomorrow. Where y'all at, man? I didn't know y'all was still out here. I don't hardly see y'all out like this. You don't need to be beat down by a lieutenant, a captain, a regional captain, a first officer to know what your sole purpose is. Like, why are we not in the community? If we are given instructions and guidance that says our work is in the street. Our work is in the street. And then the captain's job is to give instructions. Where them instructions coming from? You think he just made the instructions up? They coming from up top. So we really indirectly are insubordinate to God. So you can get Islam anywhere, but the most honorable Elijah Muhammad attached the social responsibility to our Islam. You can go to the Sunni mosque, you can go to a Shiite mosque, Ahmadiyya mosque, but what distinction? What gives us our distinction? Our way of devotion is we in the streets with ours.
Wow, indeed.
So the difference, the regional captain, Brother Anthony, told me, man, it's been a lot of killings going on in Philly. Have you heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You go to Chicago, there's a lot of killings going on in Chicago. Have you heard? In Jacksonville, guess what? The capital of Florida is Tallahassee. That's a college town, FAMU, Florida State Seminoles. I went there just a week ago, and they said we have the most crime in the country. They think that. I'm like, how you got more in Chicago? Jacksonville, they think they got the most crime. You go to Detroit, they think they got the most crime. That social engineering got you thinking that.
Wow.
Well, in the circles that I'm in, I don't never see the crime. I just hear about it. I don't see this crime that they say is so rampant in Chicago where I'm from. We just hear about it on the news. So, to answer your question, brother, and I can't put it in a nutshell because it's so profound. Are there any differences when you travel and you see different things in different cities? What I do see is I look at the leadership.
Okay.
If the leadership got the mind that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad had towards the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, towards the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, he had the mind where he didn't want Louis. Okay. He just want to be so much in accord with the most honorable Elijah Muhammad that he really the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Right.
And if leadership had that mind frame, whatever my father want, we're gonna do. That's what's gonna trickle down into the men that's subordinate to the leadership. And that's what you have here in Delaware Valley. Now, did Christ have some rebels amongst him? Does the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan have some rebels amongst him? Yes, we do. But we are fighting for what? Islam. And we gonna what? Surely win.
That's right.
If we keep our duty to Allah.
Indeed. Brother Zebulon, do you have any questions for brother? I mean, does Allah put anything on your heart? You wanna?
Oh man, you know, a lot of times some questions don't even come till you ask me. But one of the main questions that I would have for you, my brother, being my fellow brother number 4, foundation. From 1-4 to another number 4. I'd like to ask you the benefits of being the number 1 final call salesman, because I made the statement before, if we just do what Allah told us to do, and that's push the number 1 program, or the number 1 tool, that is. In pushing the number 1 tool, I'd just like for you to explain to the world how beneficial that is to receive, obey, and pass on those instructions.
As I talked last night, man, that's another good question. Beneficial. I come from the mind frame of Hollywood. When you know what you're born for, man, and you run from what you're born for, you be like Jonah, man.
Right.
Jonah in the belly of the beast. Jonah, you know, the whale situation. Like, I know what this is about. I know why I'm getting chastised because I ain't doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Once you say what your sole purpose is, and you hear that, you quote that over and over again, what is our sole purpose? And you keep hearing it over and over again, it can become a cliche, trite, and just a quote.
Okay.
But if you look up the word soul, S-O-L-E, it means one and only purpose.
Okay.
So I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, or I read in the restrictive law book, he said there's a disease in many of us in the ministry where the need for money literally has killed the spirit of the mission. Let me say that again. There's a disease in many of us in the ministry where the need for money literally, you can cut this down a little bit too.
Okay.
Literally has killed the spirit of the mission.
Wow.
So now, that's me at one time in my development, from believer to knower. And you heard what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was instilling into the ministers back then. You gonna do this music thing, or you gonna focus on the people? Go after the people and what will come? The money will come. We hear that. But we start saying, oh, I need my lights paid, man. I need my bills paid, man. I need this, and I need that, I need this. He said, Minister Farrakhan said, yeah, but when your needs are before the needs of the mosque and for the believers, and you make sure you get yours, but you don't see that they get a good teacher, I have to say you're not a good shepherd, because a shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And if you're in that leadership, it's easy for the fox to kill the sheep, because you ain't watching out for them.
That's right.
It's easy for the wolf to snap those sheep away, because you ain't looking out for them. So the benefits is, listen, once you make an agreement, we said what? Our word is what? And I give my life before my word shall fail.
That's right.
Man, that's kind of heavy right there, man, if you think about it. But that's become a cliche for some of us. A quote, a scripture. So my benefit is, I made an agreement, as I shared with the brothers last night, that Allah, if you will protect me from my sin that I committed in 1989, I will forever be indebted to you to be an example and to bring your people to you. That's before I knew anything about Islam like that. That's why I ain't never left the nation. I ain't never had no time out. I ain't say I ain't sin, but there go that mighty grace again. I ain't say I ain't make no mistakes. There go that protection again. Why? Because I never lost focus of what my mission is. Never. Never. I just develop and develop and develop. But I'm not perfect. I got problems, man. Don't you?
Yes, sir.
Indeed.
I have issues.
Indeed.
Issues, family issues. Like, I'm not the father I need to be. But I never lost focus of the mission. See what I'm saying? Yeah, I've had money challenges. That don't mean give up the mission. I've had health problems. That don't mean forget the mission. So, brother, the benefits have been to me to know, even when I'm slipping, that I can pray. That prayer that we talked about, where I said I've greatly been unjust to myself and I confess my fault. And the benefits is knowing that you're going to do what Allah asks you to do. And then you get stuff like what you was promised, friendships and all walks of life. I have been given cars from selling the Final Car newspaper, BMWs, homes. Yes, basically. It's not, man, them people give you life. When you do what Allah asks you to do, He gonna give you life. He gonna give you life, energy. Like when you stressed out, all you gotta do is go soldier. Brother Nuri told me a story one time. He was out with his wife and family. I don't know if they was on vacation or was he doing a speaking engagement. But he came back to his house and his house had been robbed and vandalized. But the Nuri said the first thing they did was pray and pay charity.
Wow.
Who can do these things in the face of adversity? Pray. Thank Allah. And continue to serve Allah. And adhere to your 5 pillars of Islam. But do you let anxiety overtake you? Now you become a warrior. Wow. I heard somebody say, if you're going to pray, don't worry. And if you're going to worry, why are you praying?
I like that. That's a shirt, bro.
It might be. But he paid charity. And then, look what happened. He went to Allah first, right?
Right.
Then they start asking in the neighborhood what happened. Because of his work in the street, the neighbors noticed somebody walking around. No, Brother Nuri told them all the stuff that was taken. And then some of the neighbors had found out, he just got a new PlayStation. He just got a new, and they got all their stuff back.
Praise be to Allah.
Man.
The protection from Allah, man, you can't fathom. Like we can't fathom the depths that the devil will go to deceive us. You can't fathom the heights that Allah will take you when you keep your duty. You can't see the blessings. You can't see the red tape that He's unloosening way ahead of you before you get there.
Wow. So
the benefits is mighty grace. And I just wanted to go into detail what mighty grace looks like. And those were some of the examples.
Wow, that's amazing. Did you have any closing remarks or thoughts that you'd like to share with us, brother?
I just thank y'all for even having this ready to talk to me about this, that y'all even on y'all mission to take the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and use social media as a means to get this out to the people. Some people be on the internet, man, just playing around on the internet with Islam. You got them internet Muslims too now.
Right.
But y'all taking the internet, man, and using it in the right way. But remember that verse in the Quran that says, and I'm paraphrasing, do you enjoin people to be right when you ain't right yourself?
That's right.
Remember that. We don't want to be them kind of Muslim. Just telling people, I was telling somebody about how to eat to live, and they was like, you look like you ain't missing no meals. So I don't really teach on that too much. I'm just trying to practice the best that I can until I look the part. I'm steadily talking about the final call though, because that's my lane. And really, how to eat to live is my lane if I want to continue to do this. So you can't be out there with the final call newspaper and not be healthy, not consistent. Your feet hurt, your ankles hurt.
I'm gonna trim it up a little bit, not hands off, but that's a little that you like it, right?
Probably a little more.
You want to cut it down a little more?
This is gonna be right when I raise it up.
That's what I was thinking.
This is the thing I'm concerned about, though.
Okay.
So it's looking good right now.
Yes, sir.
So yes, sir, Chief. So my main thing that I would probably leave people thinking is, regardless of how dark it gets,
around the neighborhood,
how intense the pain may be,
all that stuff.
if you got a connection to the Most High, that darkness can turn to light instantly. That pain can turn into comfort instantly. And you got a connection to the problem solver. And you got a connection to the solution-oriented creator that we have.
Right.
If you got, if Allah is the center, and you connected to the Most High, I don't care what you call him either, whatever your religion is, you connected to the creator of the heavens and the earth. You ain't got problems.
Right.
You got solutions.
Wow.
The world life is a bunch of problems. That's what life is. Life is problems. I heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan say, Allah, He took away impossible when He created the heavens and the earth.
That's right.
But there's answers to everything you're going through. There's a solution for it right now. And that's what I want you to remember. I want us to remember. So I don't care how dark it is, how intense it is. Man, it's light at the end of the tunnel. You can take on Allah's eyes. Sit down somewhere, let Allah work. Some of us talk about we believe in the Most High, but we try to be God.
Right.
We try to be God. Well, you got to be connected to God in order to do what God will do. You got to know how to rise above emotion to the thinking of God. If you want to be like God, don't take on your own understanding. Don't just go with your own understanding. Do what Brother Nuri taught us to do. Do what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan do. What the scripture say, Brother Zed? Seek ye first the kingdom of God.
There you go, Matthew 6, I believe it's in there.
and all His righteousness.
And everything else
will
be added to you.
The STD you probably got.
There you go.
Everything, you're disconnected. About to lose your house, foreclosure. You're going through a divorce. Did He say everything?
What Jesus said.
Everything will be given unto you. I don't care what you're going through.
Yeah.
That sister you thinking about cheating on. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, man. I go there, man. I believe in shock value. How I teach. If somebody is asleep, you don't say,
Right.
they ain't gonna wake up. You say, wake up.
Right.
You gotta shake them a little bit. So that's how I was taught. I was in 3rd grade, man. And the teacher, I don't think she got my mother's permission, but she showed us a drug documentary on what drugs do to you. I ran out that classroom as a little boy, scared as hell. And the teacher asked me, what's wrong? I was shaking and sniffling. Remember I told you I can't really talk right at the time. And I said, I'm scared. That's scared. She said, those people are on drugs. Don't do drugs. Remember say no to drug was a big thing back in the 80s? She said, don't do drugs. And I never did drugs.
Wow. Wow.
That did it. My mom used to make us light her cigarettes on the stove back in the day. And to keep it lit, going from downstairs to upstairs, you got to puff it a little time. So I puffed it and did what she did. I inhaled it and let it out my nose. She slapped the stew out of me. Look at my mom, what she said. Do as I say, not as I do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, you whooped me for smoking, and but I never smoked. Little things like that I ain't never forget, man. Everybody got little situations in their life. There's certain things that they just never did because of the way they was affected as a child.
Right.
Your problem may not be my problem. Your strength may not be my strength. You may have had a weakness that I just mastered. But that'll make you better than me. Now, I'm supposed to learn from that person who mastered their problem.
Indeed.
So Allah said for every problem that a black man can face, Allah has raised up a solution from amongst us.
Man.
From amongst
Sound
us.
like you was in here earlier, brother.
We just in tune. That's all I mean. I don't care. And I believe that I'm a solution to the fear of why brothers don't want to propagate the faith. And when they see how fearful I was of it, when they see how I wasn't able to talk, and we did what you talked about, Brother Zed. We did what you talked about.
What's that?
So this part right here, and I'm gonna hit you on that. So when you say, Allah, take this speech impediment away from me,
Yes, sir.
He going to work.
Oh, yes, sir.
If you doubt it, no. So the book of James say, don't go to prayer, ask Allah for what you want, and then doubt it as soon as you get off on the prayer.
I love
That's what that scripture says. A double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. So if I say, if the Reeds say, we're going to be the first region to deliver the Delaware Valley to the minister at 10,000 papers.
Yes,
if he
sir.
say that and put it out there, like the minister put out the Million Man March, remember? He said 1 million. He said, he heard himself say that, 1 million. But he walked in it, right?
Right.
Walked in that faith, overcame his fear. If the Reeds say that and believe that, watch what happens.
I know it.
Whether you want to participate in it or not, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And that's how I think, man.
Black man is God.
And sometimes I be cocky with it. Like sometimes you got to twist God's arm, man. So make sure you ain't really got to do it. But sometimes you got to, like a child, man, that gets straight A's, man. It's kind of hard to tell them they can't get what they want, man. Daddy, can I get some new shoes now? And they give you straight A's. They so sweet. And everything you promised them, if you be on the dean's list, I'm gonna give you this or that. Man, it's kind of hard to say no to a child that's doing what they're supposed to do.
Wow.
And that's how Allah is with us.
Wow.
That's how leadership is.
Wow.
Like, man, it's kind of hard not to give you what you want. You doing what I asked you to do.
Right.
So,
Man.
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna put it out there. No, I got that read to it.
All right,
It's his read. It's his read.
No, I got it. I'm gonna put it out there.
And watch it happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna put it out
If he
there.
believe it,
Right.
Yes, sir.
and walk into it,
Yes, sir.
look
Yeah,
what
I don't know what you said.
Okay.
You already said it.
But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be, with the help of Allah, you gotta put that in there. By Allah's permission.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna hit 1,000 papers. I already did 500 this year. I'm talking 2019. I did it already twice. Then I started touring. Before 2020 hit,
Right.
I'm gonna do 1,000 a week, more than 1 week. And guess what? It's easy. It's just I gotta make time. It's easy. Just 8 hours. 8 hours a day is all I need.
Right.
And that's 25 papers an hour.
Right.
I'm up to 40 now at times.
Man,
And I don't need 7 days to do it.
this is exciting.
And guess what? I forgot to say this last night. Did you know that the average final call goes to the hands of about 7 people?
Okay.
Like,
I didn't know.
see them books right there?
Right.
See this magazine? You go to a doctor's office, you see magazine?
Right.
Somebody pick it up,
Right.
read the
Look
article,
at it.
set it down, pick
Right.
it up. That's how the final call is. You come in
Right.
a laundromat somewhere, be somewhere, somebody gonna pick it up, read the article, put it down.
Right.
And you and if you got the mind frame of like, not I sold this many papers, but I saved this many souls.
Right.
If you're going with a savior mind frame as opposed to a salesman, you're
Right.
going to do it like that. So when you ask, but let them read that, how many souls did you save this week? And the brother said, I only got 5 papers. Dang. When you look at it like that,
Right.
how many souls did you save this week, black man? Because we don't sell papers, man. We're not salesmen. We're not paper boys. So how many souls did you save? So if I sold a bundle and the average final call goes to the hands of about 7 people, I potentially reach how many people?
700.
So if I sell 2 bundles in a day, how many people I potentially reach?
14.
A day. And that's about the pace that we need to go to save our people, man.
Man.
For sure.
Man.
But then you want to talk about, man, I ain't got time. Man, I need to pay this bit. A sister told me she made $25 an hour. She worked for a carpet place called Empire. And I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna make more than me. She bragging on $25 an hour. It is good for today's society, but nobody pay more than Muhammad if you really understand what you're doing.
So how we looking, brother?
I look like I should have been looking last night.
And what's up with your mustache?
You can trim that up.
Trim it up a little bit?
Yes, sir. Make me feel good, man.
Yes, sir. I got you.
Man, but I was in there last night. Man, I got bit by a spider. This is
By a
new.
spider?
And they hit me right here.
Oh, man.
It's in my system though. And I had to get some blood work. Go ahead, do that.
No, you can talk.
But they fit.
You can
So
talk.
I go see the labs next week.
Okay. Well, man, we thank you, brother. This is really powerful, man. I'm very inspired right now. I feel like, I'm gonna have to watch this video a few times because you said so much powerful stuff.
I believe you just talking, man. What inspired you, man? On camera, what inspired you?
What inspired me? Just this whole notion of keeping our duty to Allah. And how when we go out here with a sincere desire to help our people, like you said, we look at our people like souls, man, and we got something to offer them. And it's not even like we know we're close to perfect, but when Allah sees the work and the sincerity of heart that we striving to be, He'll look out for us when we out here doing that work. And our people, since they got God in them, they can feel our sincerity when we about doing that work. This me kind of paraphrasing a little bit, but I'm just kind of camelbacking off of what I've heard you say. And it's just it's just a good thought. I can't think of a better thing, to be honest with you.
You're right.
Now
that's key. If the fall of America is in place, and we believe that, right? You believe the fall of America is in time? We living in it right now.
Indeed.
We should be investing in the rise of this new world that we're ushering in.
That's right.
And when you subscribe to the idea that we ushering in a new world, you subscribe to that, man, there is no better feeling. Because you ushering in a new world and you contributing to that, there's no better feeling.
Right.
You know how the minister was when he seen Marcus Garvey, the picture of him on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you like, is he still living?
Right.
And you want, we right here with the man. I don't know how to describe the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. The best words that any language can exhibit to attribute to the beautiful mind and spirit and soul of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm saying right now. And we right here walking with him right now.
That's right.
I don't want to say, it's not as profound saying I'm one of the disciples of Christ. It's not. It's bigger than that. Than saying I walk with the disciple. I walk with Christ. It's bigger than that. The feeling is bigger. You see what I'm trying to say? I'm one of the disciples. Matthew, Mark, Luke. No. I walk with God. That's it.
Right.
You ain't got nothing to show for it though. No, you didn't walk with God. You was like Judas in the cut.
Man.
Right.
Walking with God, man. How you gonna not be protected? So I believe you're not just talking now. I do believe you was inspired now. You go do this to him. That's real, man. So the best thing that I possibly can say to any believer, man, is that.
1 second.
Hey, I better be quiet now.
Yeah, it's a brand new razor.
Go ahead.
Brand new razor.
Yes, sir.
Top it down.
Well, at least he gave
Top
you
it
a
down
warning.
like this. Yeah, there you go.
Brother waits till he's doing my mustache to crack a joke and say something funny. And then he gets on me with my lips move. Don't move your lips, man.
But see, we trying to be good guests to our brothers, so I ain't going to do that to Brother Hashim.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you're looking good like that.
See? Yeah, we want to be good guests, you know. So I don't know what the time look like, but man, I want to tell you that I'm inspired by you too, brother. And one of the main things that I'm inspired with, Brother Hashim, is the question that people always ask: what's after the minister? And you are one of those brothers that represent a nation that's after the minister. I can just leave it at that.
Indeed. Well, yeah, once again, we thank Brother Hashim for his time, as always.
And we really want to thank our beloved Brother Anthony
That's right.
for bringing him in.
That's right.
Because if you didn't have the vision to do it, none of this would happen.
Yeah,
You
right.
see, a lot of times we always don't pay attention to that number 4. That number 4, that foundation number is a powerful number. And we got a lot of work to do, and we working Allah's will and don't even know it.
That's right.
You just doing what your heart telling you to do. You already know the magnetic attraction our brother has. So you do what you do, you know what I mean, as our regional, to bring him in. You know what I mean? To inspire. Always trying to inspire the fruit.
That's right.
And then look what happens afterwards.
Yes, sir.
Allah takes charge.
Yes,
That's right. Praise be to Allah.
Yep. So I really, we should really stop this right now, because one thing about our people, if it's too long, they ain't gonna watch it.
Right. Well, assalamu alaikum, family. Thank you again.
Salam, sir.
See you.
Walaikum salam.
Peace.
Yeah, that was good.